was just wondering if you had any thoughts about releasing this film kind of in this moment where we're having all these conversations about migrants and immigration, just if you had any thoughts about that.
Yeah, I do. It's a tricky one because, this is, in lots of ways, a very small story, but it has scale. You know what I mean? Is that it hopefully suggests a lot more than the actual size of one young woman's journey. It's also rather internal, and it doesn't rely on melodrama or large dramatic events to keep moving forward. When you look at the contemporary migrant crisis, to be honest, the closest parallel would be famine migration in Irish history, which is a very, very different thing, but that has sort of shocking parallels, I think. So, but it's a story which, I don't know, if at its best, maybe it humanizes the idea of migrants. I mean, there's a very different relationship to immigration here, a very different tone to the conversation about immigration here than there is, for instance, in the United Kingdom. So, yeah, it's a very big issue to walk around.
I mean, we've all been talking about it a lot, of course, because it is in the sort of zeitgeist. And I think in terms of Avish's journey and all those thousands of people, hundreds of thousands that came from Ireland, came from Italy at that time and at the end of the First World War, they were all in search of a better life. And I think that's what a lot of the crisis now is the same. Those people are also in search of a better life.
A long time before I talked first to John about the script, I talked to Mike Nichols about the script. He'd asked to speak to me, and we had a phone conversation which was very interesting. And he said, I think that you need to make a case for why this story now. And he said, and there are lots of cases to be made. And I think he meant that I should make that case somehow in the script. And I kind of politely disagreed, because I think that actually whenever you make this film, there is always going to be that argument going on in the time in which the film is being released. And in fact, we're having this huge argument about it, debate about it in Europe at the moment. And there are various people on the right politically who say enough's enough and we don't want any more despite what's happening. And it's quite interesting to bring a film out in that time which says these are how countries are made. Countries are made by shifts and influxes, and there's never a good time not to talk about it, I think.
This is a secret history of Ireland over a period of 150 years, and it's still going on in Ireland. In other words, that if you graduate now from university in Ireland, there's still no work for you, and you have to find another country to go to. And as I was writing the book, it was happening. But as I was writing the book, something else was going on in Ireland, and I was acutely conscious of it, which was that for the first time in our history, people were starting to come to Ireland looking for work. That a lot of Polish people arrived in Ireland, a lot of Nigerians. Suddenly Ireland was a place of destination. And Ireland was uneasy about this. Ireland wasn't sure, because we were so used to being the victim, or the country that sent our young people abroad, suddenly having them arrive, people arriving. And I was aware that I had to be careful with the book, not to preach. I'm not involved as a writer in preaching to my nation. But nonetheless, there was an undercurrent in the book was, look, this is what it's like to arrive in another country looking for work. And someone who will eventually become a citizen. This is what it's like the first year. Please have pity on the Polish people, on the Nigerian people, on the Chinese people. Please see them in this way. But I didn't want to make that clear. I wanted to make it in a way, I wanted to dramatize one case, one story of an Irish person. But I did have in the back of my mind that for an Irish audience reading it, thinking, oh my God, that must be how the girl who actually, was working in the supermarket, that must be when she looks sad, the Polish girl, that must be what she's going through. So I was aware, of that other story, of the contemporary story, as I was writing the book, and aware also of the effect the novel might have on a reader. I suppose with every novel you have somewhere or other to try and that the reader learns to imagine something they might not have imagined before, and that, no matter what you do, has political implications.